which is, and I was so, I want to make sure I do this correctly because I've been seeing a lot of shit where it's like, and I think this is a really nasty trend that happens with not just in anime and manga, but just kind of for celebrities in general, which is I hate like these posthumous rankings people start putting out. There's a whole bunch of
rankings of what, like top
so
five
there's been like
deaths or what?
mad there's a if you just type into YouTube right now, there is mad like literally rest in peace to number one author, rest in peace to the GOAT, and like all these in the conversation, not just the titles, but like the conversations they have in them are just, I think, the wrong conversations to have when someone passes. So I want to be very clear here.
Uh,
If what I'm about to say, none of it has to do with what I think of him as far as like how well he writes or how well he draws. If you want to hear that kind of stuff, then you can go literally list. We have several hundred episodes of this, and I have made my affection for Dragon Ball very well known. Um, I didn't find out Toriyama passed until it was around 9:30. I
it's like
just finished up kind of
the
getting,
third or something, because I think he passed on the first, but like news didn't really break until the couple days later.
yeah, which shout out to Japan, way more respectful about people passing than fucking America could ever be. If
Bro,
celebrity like that passed, you would not find out about it 6 days later. That shit would be some shit you find out about like before fucking family members do. And it's
yeah,
like, so shout out to Japan for being mad respectful.
I'm like BBC has that shit like ready to go. They're like in
He's dead.
memoriam.
Talk about it. Throw it on the fucking banner.
Uh,
And so, but I just see on my Twitter, and it's like, and the first thing I see is Oda's statement on the passing of Toriyama.
mm,
Mind you, I just laid down to go. I was laid down. I normally I have the bad habit. I sit there and look at my phone when I'm about to go to bed. Shouldn't do it, but not the point.
yeah, not the point.
And my brain like doesn't actually compute what I just read. And I was like, is there like a different name or somebody else with like a similar name? And I just sit there and I'm reading Oda's statement is basically the first thing I read in regards to it. And I was like, oh fuck. Um, so I just wanted to say thank you as a I'm not like I said, anything I could say about Dragon Ball and how I feel about it has already been said multiple times, but just a genuine thank you to Toriyama for not only like what he did for the genre, what he did for shonen, what he just did for people, whether they were inspired off and decided to make work because of what he was doing, or if you just enjoyed it. Like if you just were one of those kids that woke up and you were watching Dragon Ball, you're watching on Toonami, you're watching Adult Swim, however you got to interact with it. Um, just a genuine thank you for like the enjoyment that was brought from this creation. Like I said, this is not a analysis of it or a time to critique. It's like just something that was so enjoyed worldwide, uh to the point. And obviously when these things come out, it's like it's what makes a like reading Oda and reading Kishimoto talk about it, people that like actually know him, not just the impact of his creation, but just like the person. And like I've joked before, and it's like this dude is the godfather of manga. And it's like
Mm.
you really feel that when you see like the letters they put out where it's like, dude, I started writing just because I just wanted to get a compliment from this guy. I just wanted him to acknowledge what I did. Um,
There was a
it
lot of that. I I definitely saw. It was almost like every mangaka that like wrote something was like, I got into this because I grew up with Dragon Ball,
it's
and like,
you
yeah, I
even
mean,
get
it's shaped every shonen. Every shonen is shaped around that.
and then you
He
get
he
the
literally created the shonen template,
yeah,
which
it's like
it's
the I
yeah.
can't say his name correctly, but the author for Astro Boy, which I didn't know this until this.
Oh wow, I didn't see this. This okay.
He basically he came out and or it was an old article, but essentially he's passed since then. But the author of Asteroid basically told Toriyama when Dragon Ball was first really gaining its popularity, he was like, dude, you're it. Like And Astro Boy is credited as the first manga of this. Like, he's essentially the actual creator of the genre and the style. And
Mm,
he looked at Toriyama and was like, once I'm done, like once I'm physically done, Astro Boy I think was done publicating at that time. But he's like, you got next. Like, you
mm,
are this. And it's why so many, it's so like this, how do you put it? People can say a lot of times like time and place matters, and it's like you could technically improve on a formula. We're humans, we all do that. The very first car was brilliant and we've improved on it tenfold, but you can't take away like that template from the first car. And as a person, what he endured with, even like his schedule, like is famous
mm-hmm.
for being just bullshit. And it's impacts Oda's scheduling to this day, of like Oda's seeing these stories of like what his friends, what his mentors have gone through, and he's like, I'm not going to do that. And even Oda hasn't fully escaped it. Like, he's had more health issues as he's gotten older and things he's had to take care of. um
Yeah,
but
I think that's an interesting legacy too. That nobody wants that Toriyama schedule. No one should have that Toriyama schedule.
that's a fact.
Like, and it's one of those things where I'm like, oh, like, not to make it about Oda, but like the idea
Mm,
that like, oh, we are going to use him not just as a template for like Shonen Jump, but like the idea of, or like the template for like Shonen storytelling, but like also as like a uh kind of like a warning to overwork and burnout.
mm-hmm.
Like, I wouldn't, like, we kind of talked a little bit this, me and Jake kind of talked about it a little this week, but um the Horikoshi being able to take as much time as he needs between chapters and stuff. And
Mm,
and again, My Hero Academia, I think, is still the number two most popular in Shonen Jump right now.
probably.
Maybe number three. I think JJK is also up there.
Yeah.
But and Black I'm not gonna speak for Black Clover, I don't know. But yeah, just like the idea that we don't have to work these people into the ground. It's still not the best working conditions,
Oh yeah.
but the fact that like it's better
Mm-hmm.
or seems to be getting better. I can't speak for
Correct. Yeah.
everybody. And maybe it has to do with the length of your story also. I don't know.
It's just like I said, my big thing is just, it's just a, as someone who's like, and I always think sometimes it sounds corny, but it is genuinely true, of like some people who just make certain projects that are so, that you spend so much time like investing in your own life, or it is like, it does feel damn near like losing a distant family member. And you're like, the amount of hours like I've watched Dragon Ball, the amount of time of like YouTube videos talking about it, etc., like watching YouTube videos talking about it on here. um it literally getting me into the space where it was like, we didn't have that in America. It was,
Yeah.
we got Toonami, and Toonami finally started to show this. But there's a reason why Toonami has these really good ratings and Dragon Ball first makes it over here. Then Toonami kind of dies out once Dragon Ball has ran its current course. And then it picks back up because they're like, oh, now we have Super again. And
Yeah.
that going into like, it's from that to getting a Naruto, to getting a One Piece, to getting a Bleach, to getting all these other series, these people that have been inspired, admired him, like all that stuff. And just to do like, and I think this is something to close out this note. I think it's incredibly cool, and this is something I have kind of for all manga, because he's just obviously was one of the longest tenured.
Mm-hmm.
To do something that you love, and you gotta love, just because, like I said, the working conditions are just so awful. Like, you have to genuinely love your story, and to do something that you started in your 20s and like you're still actively involved with at 68, and really only a notable like 2 to 3 years of like total inactivity. Like, that's impressive from a human being perspective. There's not a
Yeah.
lot of things to be like, I'm gonna start this and I'm like 24, 25, and I'm gonna do this shit my whole life and I'm gonna enjoy the fuck out of it. to the point of like Dragon Ball Daima is supposed to come out this year. I think I said that correctly. And like that's his project. Like
Oh,
that's not
really? It's like a sequel to Super.
it's an off-brand story. So it's not even a secret. It's not even a outright so Toyo Yaro, if I'm saying that correctly, he has Super going forward, and he's had Super with some Toriyama guidance for like the past 2 years. So he's been the one drawing the manga. He's been the one that got to do, which is really cool. So that Super movie we saw, the superhero one, so that's entirely Toyo Yaro, and that was his tribute to. So he drew all of it. Toriyama kind of gave him the storyline because Piccolo was his favorite character, and that was kind of his ode to him as like the Red Ribbon Army is where this all started, which for a lot of people in America, it's like, if you haven't watched OG Dragon Ball, go watch it. Entirely different story than Z, but it's, yeah. So he's been the one, when he'll continue to work with that. Daima was a side project that Toriyama was working on.
Oh,
No one
that's
really
cool.
knew he had health conditions. I mean, outside of his inner circle, which is
That's probably for the
fair and
best.
the
Yeah,
way it
that's
should be.
fine. Yeah.
Like I said, there's something really cool about the fact of he passed on the first. His immediate friends and family got to go through their process first, and then
And
because he's
then
a
the
public
world found
figure,
out.
it was released to the world. And so, and I don't know what day Oda and Kishimoto found out. Obviously, the statements came out when it was made public. I don't know how early on, but like he's got a son, he has a wife, and so it's like, let those people mourn and go through their process for their dad, their husband, etc. And from just the fans of the world, like thank you. There's just so much shit that exists, has changed my life just because of like this thing that you created and put out into the world. Um, yeah, that's all I got. It's just huge thank you to Mr. Toriyama. Rest in peace. Go read Dragon Ball this week. Also, I'm totally gonna do it just because I'm not home, so I'm not gonna get in trouble. There's a thing on Twitter right now which has like 1 million likes. Um, April 5th is his birthday. 9 a.m. Eastern time is supposedly the time the most people on the world are awake, and they want everyone just to walk outside and just scream at the top of their lungs, because screaming is as pretty fucking ubiquitous with Dragon Ball as any actual dialogue. And it's going to be great. And I'm going to do it. I'll be driving and I'm going to pull over. I don't give a fuck if I'm on the freeway.
You said
And I
9
am just going to get out my fucking truck and scream. And then I'll deal with the repercussions later.
say
But
9 a.m. Eastern time is Eastern time?
9 a.m. Eastern, so 6 a.m. here.
That ain't happening.
That's supposedly, though, the time. Now, I don't know who came up with 9 a.m. as far as that being supposedly the time most people in the world are awake. I get it for the East Coast. I don't.
Yeah, some nerd wakes up at 9.
I'm like,
He
I'm like,
wakes up.
oh.
He wakes up at 8:30.
And so, but that's supposedly the time. And
Yeah,
but
that's
yeah,
cool.
and just
Yeah, man.
the hell of a legacy to leave behind. So, once again, thank you, Mr. Toriyama.